Right. Now, you mentioned it took about 20 years combined to put this material together. Was it kind of crunched at the end as you finally compiled it and put it into that final form?
No, not really, because there was a good, I would say, 5 year difference between when I had completed that, which I really completed it to teach out of, but also for my own benefit. And then there was a quite a period of time before the idea of even making it into these series of workbooks came up. And so, no, the difficult thing, even though it was enjoyable as I did it, the difficult thing was taking something that I had already written for my own personal use, and then, and by the way, it was written in a manuscript form, and then in my own, for my, and that was just for me, and then to, once the idea came up, to condense that immense amount of material, because what I had written, if it were in normal book form, would be about 550 pages, but I have it in 8.5 by 11. And so to condense that, that was, although it wasn't crunch time, but that took a lot of time. And I did not rush the matter. But I'll tell you what, sitting there trying to decide how you're going to bring essentially 25 pages into 3 or 4 pages so that people can still get the flow and understand what's happening, that was tough.
Did you do the questions yourself?
No, uh, I think the questions are the most difficult part. And we're blessed at the Northern Kentucky Church of Christ. One of the other elders, his wife is a retired advanced English teacher. And she is great. She does all my initial editing, all my initial proofreading next to Vicky. And she asks the questions or writes the questions because I think that's the most difficult part of all. I don't care for fill in the blank kind of questions. I just don't care for that kind of thing. Uh, I see a place for true and false questions and so forth, but I like questions that elicit thought and conversation. And that's what Sheila did, and she did an excellent job.
And I assume that you taught through this material as you put it together through the years, and so that helped you to refine it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any advice for other authors who maybe want to put material together, whether it's out of the New Testament, Old Testament, character study, individual, or topical?
Well, it's just like preaching and teaching as well. You can't preach what you don't know, and you can't teach what you don't know. And so while an individual may have a goal that they want to produce a work on this type or this particular topic, make sure you know that topic. And then if you're going to produce something for publication, know the basic rules of grammar and be careful that you follow those rules. Now some of it is going to be picked up by the editor, and some of it's going to be picked up by anybody that you have proofreading. But I can well imagine an editor receiving something filled with grammatical errors that they're just going to reject it. But most of all, know the truthfulness of what you're saying before you put it on paper. Because once you put it on paper and it's published, then people are going to be paying attention to it, and you do not want to lead anyone astray in any area. So my advice would be know the subject deeply before you sit down and try to put it to paper in a publishable form.
Good advice.